How does being in such a public relationship affect you guys? How does Aria stay confident when some guys can feel insecure about being shorter? Was there any hesitation with being in an interracial relationship? Who's the dom and who's the sub?
Oh my.
Hello!
Hello!
Let's try to do this in harmony. Hello!
Hello!
Harmony.
Oh, harmony is. Hello!
Hello! That was good. We get a lot of people commenting on our relationship, which, you know, we ask for.
Comes with the territory.
Comes with the territory. We open those doors, we gotta take what comes. Okay, so I made a little story on my Instagram where I asked people to submit their questions. So today I'm gonna go through all the questions you guys submitted and I'm gonna read them to Aria. He doesn't know what they are yet. Here's one from Merlia Cookie. What were your first impressions of each other when you first met?
Ah, that's a good one.
That's a really good one.
I was very
in love.
No.
Obsessed.
No.
Intrigued.
I was intrigued. Because I remember seeing her picture. I thought, she's very attractive. But I was in the middle of working on a very big project at the time, so I was like, she's attractive. All right, back to my work now. When we first spoke over Slack, I did appreciate how witty you were and how sharp you were. And, you know, I thought, wow, this is actually someone who's not only attractive, but potentially intelligent, too.
Potentially?
Well, I didn't know you much at that time. I thought she could be intelligent, just like some people are better over, you know, text than in person.
My first impression of Aria was that he was an egomaniac.
Correct first impression.
I will say, I thought he had a very handsome face. I thought he had a very, very handsome face, a nice jaw, those cheekbones that could cut bread. When I first got to know him, he was so polite. I thought he was fake. People sneeze in the office and he screams, bless you, from across
It's polite.
the office. But people love it. So anyway, I was suspicious of him, but I thought he was handsome. Shamba would like to know, how did you find your passion?
What does that mean?
I'm thinking of the night, the eyes.
Oh, the eyes, yes. We talked about the eyes.
We were eating ramen alone together one night. Aria and I were talking about sex with each other, just as friends do, and kind of flirting with each other. I said, you know, I really just can't imagine you having sex. I just, like, my brain can't go there for some reason. And he goes,
I didn't have glasses on. This is a fictional interpretation. I did not have glasses on.
Then he held the eye contact just like this. Was there any hesitation with being in an interracial relationship?
I think being Asian specifically has more, in a way, privilege than other minorities in certain ways. And so we haven't faced any of the discrimination that another interracial couple may face. So that is definitely a privilege that we have. So A, we haven't experienced anything, I don't feel. And B, it was never really a hesitation, at least on my end. But you've never dated an Asian man before.
I actually have never dated someone who wasn't white before.
There you go.
And I also haven't dated anyone who wasn't from Massachusetts before. And I've had 5 previous boyfriends.
All from Massachusetts.
All from Massachusetts, and they were all white. So, you know, that goes to show
I spiced up her life.
the snow globe that I was living in.
Like a sriracha sauce.
Oh, God.
Sriracha. I know my grandmother always wanted me to date and marry a Lao woman. Oops. I think she's definitely softened on that stance.
We haven't really felt the effects, which is a huge privilege of ours.
We will definitely recognize that.
How does Aria stay confident when some guys can feel insecure about being shorter?
So if you can't really tell here, but Merle's actually a couple inches taller than me. She's 5'10", 5'11". I'm 5'8".
You've dated taller women in the past. Do you have like a
knack
for it?
I did women of all heights, taller and shorter than me, and you know, for me, I guess it's just a variable that I don't really take into consideration. For me, the most important thing is honestly the chemistry. And so, you know, the height doesn't really come into play too much.
As for me, I have never dated anyone shorter than me. I had hesitations about it at first.
She did. She told my friend, she said, he's too short.
Not because of his height as much as it was because of mine. I've always been a little self-conscious of being tall, really tall. As soon as I started getting an emotional attachment for Aria, that completely went out of my mind. To the point where now I don't actually think about it anymore. I remember the day I was like, wow, I remember when that used to bother me. I wonder when that stopped. Okay, here's one from Alas I'm Here. What is one thing each of you hate and love about each other? Like, Aria is easily the most thoughtful, insightful, doting, wonderful boyfriend that I thought were only in movies.
I watched a lot of rom-coms. I just love her.
But I hate. While he's so doting and affectionate and sweet, Sometimes he just gets lost in another land. I can tell when there's nothing behind those eyes. Our brains are very different. They work very differently. We're learning how to deal with it though. It's getting better.
I love how comfortable Mel. I love.
Who is she?
I love how comfortable Merle makes me feel in who I am. I've never communicated with anyone as well as I do with Merle because she's so open and warm and loving, and she really creates a safe space for me and for us, which I truly, in any relationship, I've never felt so at ease with someone. And I feel like I don't have to hide any part of me, including the crazy ones.
And he doesn't.
And I don't. And what do I hate?
Hate is such a strong word when it's being used against me.
Hate is a strong word, but what I hate about Merle is that she's...
It's strong, but he's gonna use it.
Her emotions are always kept at the surface, so she can snap very easily. So if she's cranky, she'll snap at me. And sometimes, in some situations, I feel it's better to just take a step back, take a deep breath, process, and move on.
It's mature.
But we're very good at talking things out, so.
Both the things we hate about each other, we're both working on actively all the time. Does he know how to drive a stick shift? No, but I do. Who said I love you first?
I did. And she didn't say it back.
I did. Who's the dom and who's the sub?
Oh my.
I think we keep some things to ourselves.
But you can make assumptions.
What did you just do? We got another question here from Spam Mad. It says, how does being in such a public relationship affect you guys? Sorry if it's too personal.
Well, I think it's a very valid question considering how many videos we've been in together at BuzzFeed. In general, being at BuzzFeed, producing content as on-screen talent ourselves, you know, we're used to placing ourselves in vulnerable positions. I mean, you did a whole video about your vagina.
Yep.
And your vulva.
Doesn't get much more personal than that.
But I've also, on my end, aired out a bunch of insecurities in videos. So I guess in many ways, this is kind of an extension of that. Furthermore, on that topic, for me at least, I've done videos about my search for love for BuzzFeed. So it's not like a new realm for me to look into dating and relationships in videos. Does it affect us? I mean, I think there's a general fear in comments sometimes with some of the videos, like the last one we did where we were, I think it's Merle and Aria try quarantining together, and people were worried that BuzzFeed were making us do it, or we were sharing too much public stuff. I mean, very flat out we can say that, you know.
We've never ever been pressured to be in videos together. It's always been our choice.
Like, obviously, if there was something we didn't want to do, we wouldn't show it.
Right.
Simple as that. And, you know, obviously there are a lot of personal and private moments that we don't want to be in videos, but just sometimes if we think, you know, we're going through an experience, like let's use the quarantine video for an example.
We thought it would be helpful.
Yeah, if there's an experience that we're going through that could be helpful to others or could be worth documenting for ourselves, why not share it?
Our relationship, we always prioritize, and if we thought in any way it was going to affect our connection or affect how we treat each other or how we act around each other, we wouldn't do it. At least for me, I'm a very visual learner, so we try to, you know, put our lessons out there on the internet as honestly and vulnerably as possible when appropriate for other people to see.
That's great. Great answer, my love.
That's how we express ourselves. Okay, question from Jazzykins K. After quarantine, do you think you and Aria would want to live together? Eventually.
It's something we definitely want to do in the future, but we don't want to rush into it.
I've lived with someone once before, so has Aria.
And I think, I don't know about your case, in my case, I think I moved in too quickly. We want to take our time, and we're just enjoying, you know, having our own space for a little bit. You know, we have all the time in the world.
Yeah, it's important to enjoy the beginnings of a relationship also, because you don't go back.
Yeah, once you move in with someone, you know, that's a whole other world.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching and for sending in all these awesome questions. We had a lot of fun answering them. Please subscribe and like and do all of those things. I'm really excited to have you guys all here. Let us know in the comments below if there are any other videos you'd like to see on my channel, whether just of me or with the two of us. He's not gonna be in all of them, but he'll be in some of them.
Special guest star.
Thank you for doing this video with me.
Of course.
Crash my glasses.